So what happened is that I had an interest in physics. I love math. I love philosophy, and so those were like some of my interests. And as I started practicing this one thing, basically I'd look up physics and I'd look up like different scientific things, and I love psychology, and I look at the psychological aspects. And what I didn't realize is that I found a medium that would allow all the different interests to come together. But here's an interesting thing. I had taken all those, I had, taken some action on all those different things in order to, pursue my interests. There were small solutions I had actually collected over time. And I just didn't have a place to put them all together. And I didn't realize that by giving up on all these different things and realizing that I'm not this, you know, I think, like in my case, well, the dream that I had would be to be a polymath, right? To be this genius in all these areas. And I had this, grandiose vision. And I realized actually when my teacher, oh, no, I can't do this. I'm stretched. And fortunately, I had the teachings. I had the teachings to be a normal person. I had to, I had these concepts, and I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe this is a time really to be normal and to be humble. And I was pursuing that, and then I had an opportunity, and so I tried to really implement that. And then when I did, ironically, later on, as I was living my life, trying to learn, tai chi, and what I learned and what I'm trying to actually present to you in terms of this view that I learned is why slow is fast and why small is great and why less is more, right? I mean, it was a change in my view that allowed me to approach this differently, and actually that allowed all being normal, this pursuit of being normal allowed me to take the steps that I needed to, because I stopped pursuing something big. And then all the small steps that I accumulated actually allowed me to take the next steps in this pursuit of training Tai Chi and the Taoist arts, until I started actually, all my interests started coming together. And all of a sudden, and I love teaching, right? And so that's why I do what I do. And look at how many different things came together, right? I like all these different interests, just taking small steps on it. And most likely what you'll notice is that you're not necessarily great in any one of these things, like in terms of being the best in the world. But you'll notice that if all these different talents that you have and all these different passions or interests that you have, they come together, then that combination is really unique and actually amounts to something rather significant, where there's only one you, and that combination, that coordinated effort, that integrated self of your different interests and your different passions, when it meets an opportunity, is actually what becomes what people call a purpose. And all of a sudden, now it looks epic. But when you look at it, it won't be epic. You'll realize, oh, that's just me doing my thing. But everyone else was like, oh my gosh, like you're a genius, or oh my gosh, you're so amazing, or and it's like this, you probably have this experience where you just did something and it was nothing special, and someone else is just going crazy over it and super excited, and you're like thinking, just calm down, dude, man. I was like, there's nothing special about it. Most likely that is actually what's special about you, but because it's so normal, right? But also people don't realize, and so some people actually have this concept and they try and look for it, but they won't find it. But because it's your entire being, it's all these different aspects that come together that makes it special. So if you're looking for just one thing, you're gonna have trouble finding it. So that's why I feel like this dust gathering to mountain idea is so powerful, because it's really different kinds of dust coming together, that all these different small solutions coming together that really actually creates something that makes a difference to other people and including yourself, and that brings meaning. And that's one of the reasons why you can tell that the reason we look at these idols or these entertainment people, these stars, is because when we look at them, they have so much resources, and we feel like these resources is going to help us actually really find who we are. When actually, really, the easiest way to find it is to just keep solving these small problems. That's why I'm actually talking, like I've dedicated all these videos, I think 3 so far, just talking about meaning. Why? Because if I'm really going to try and help you change your view that there are no big problems, there are only small problems, and all you need are small solutions. The only way I can do that is actually to inspire you to see the reality that that's actually what created these epic people, and actually that the only reason you're trying to mimic these people, these role models that you have, is because you're trying to find significance in your own life. You're trying to find meaning in your own life, and you're trying to make sure that you have a group of people that you can belong to, where you can have experience deep intimacy and meaning, and also significance from being able to serve and have positive impact on them. That's what life is about. What we don't realize is that that can only happen if you look for small things, because that accumulates. And having this picture that dust gather into a mountain, that they're only small problems, actually is a ticket to that. And so the reason I've been actually kind of taking on this journey of this simple view is because the simple view actually has a lot attached to it, right? And unless you can see the entirety of this view, and unless you can see that this is actually really the only way, you will try and keep doing what you've probably been trying to do so far, which is trying to do big things, trying to do epic things, trying to find this one thing where you're just the best at, and continue to find someone else who is better than you are. Trying to find something that you're so passionate about where you don't lose interest, yet actually after doing it a little bit, realizing that that wasn't it, and thinking that you probably found the wrong thing. Not realizing that what really builds interest and passion is continuing to solve small problems until you find some momentum where these series of solutions that you found, they start really accumulating, and they start accumulating to something big. And that's the concept of cultivation. And what you're doing is you're cultivating small problems, and you're bundling them together where they're becoming a bigger and bigger solution. And you'll notice that even if it was something you used to not enjoy, if you get good at it, you enjoy it. And if you get really good at it, you start really enjoying it, and you become really passionate about it. And so, isn't this interesting? This model that we have is backwards. It's a lie. It's like it's very rare to come across someone who just finds a passion and just stays with it. What's actually truer is that they find something that they're good at better than most, and then they feel hope, and then they practice really hard, and at some point they meet other people who are just as good or better, and then they come to a decision point. But at this point they've invested so much that they just stay with it, because there's a hope that maybe they could become the best. But isn't it interesting? What that shows is that the model of these people who become epic is actually a myth. That you're so talented. Actually, what's more accurate is a lot of different factors came together, and the dust gathered into a mountain for that person to have a certain epic result that is a unique combination of all the different aspects of themselves.